From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the November 29th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Bridget Williams.
And I'm Katie Parley. We're proud to be bringing you coverage of Carolina news and events. Renovation projects are changing the look of UNC campus thanks to the higher education bond referendum. The undergraduate library will receive its facelift next year. Carolina Week's Caroline Patterson has the story.
The paint on the walls is chipping away. Asbestos fills the ceilings, and fans run full force to cool the poorly ventilated computer lab. The undergraduate library will undergo a massive $9.8 million renovation beginning in January. Undergraduate librarian David Taylor is impressed by the master plans for the new library. Taylor says the changes will increase space while preserving the cozy atmosphere of the UL.
There will be a lot of browsing areas and comfortable seating throughout the building. But we are trying to do a better job of walling off noisy areas.
But before new walls go up, the entire building must be gutted. Project coordinators expect the renovation to take more than a year and a half to complete. In the meantime, most of the resources, such as reserve readings, will move to Davis and Wilson libraries. Davis will operate 24 hours a day, Sunday through Thursday, to accommodate UNC students during the renovation process. The chairs are dingy and the tables are dusty, but some students say they'll miss the old undergraduate library. Senior John Carroll has used the UL since his freshman year. He says he enjoys studying here.
It's just more of a student environment. It's a lot more comfortable to me, and I like it a lot better than Davis. It's smaller, it's just more comfortable, more familiar.
Brittany Befford goes to the undergraduate library for study groups.
We just wanted a real relaxed setting where we could relax and come up with our own ideas and not feel pressured or like we had to be really quiet.
But the UL won't be an option much longer. UNC students will have to find other places to study when the library closes December 19th. In Chapel Hill, I'm Caroline Patterson, Carolina Week.
The renovation project involves adding more windows, computers, and quiet study rooms to the UL. Better ventilation and fire systems will also be added for student safety.
And looking at other possible changes on campus, soon a group of people familiar with Carolina's judicial system and a group of national experts will meet to discuss Carolina's current system. The judicial system came under scrutiny this year after the open honor court hearing involving a computer science cheating case. Carolina's judicial system is unique because students, not faculty, prosecute and decide the cases. Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Dr. Sue Kitchen, says the system works well, but a review is in order.
I think the timing is right for us to take a good, comprehensive look at our system, identify its strengths, see where we can make improvements, and make it even stronger than it is.
UNC isn't the only school with a long tradition of student-run judicial governance that's considering changes. UVA has also just released a report on problems with its system.
The Carolina Athletic Association has a new football coach on the top of its holiday wish list. In our Speak Out segment today, some UNC-CH students tell Carolina Week what kind of coach the university should hire.
I think we need a young coach for the simple fact that we need to get the fans involved, and I don't think Torbush really made the fans want to come to the games. We also need a coach with a good reputation who will bring players who want to play here and represent our university.
I think the coaching staff should definitely be able to discipline the players, be able to teach them a lot, and get them to have spirit. There are a lot of games this year where it seemed like the players just were walking on and off the field like they didn't care.
I think Carolina needs a coach that takes more risks on the field. I mean, we went 4th and inches a couple times this year and didn't trust in our offense enough to follow through. So somebody that's willing to put the trust in the team, and they'll probably put the trust back in him, and maybe the program will take off.
A coach that can turn the program around to the way it was about 3 years ago. Enthusiastic, can get the players motivated, can get the recruiting back on track.
I think we might want to think about going with a little bit more aggressive coach, because it seems like Torbush was kind of passive with some of his play calls and that sort of thing.
Our sample is in no way scientific and shouldn't be taken as a reflection of widespread opinions on campus. Devin Biganis will have more about the Torbush era coming up in sports. Some students on campus are talking about World AIDS Week. The worldwide event was first observed on December 1st, 1998, and is designed to make people more aware of the deadly virus. More than 730,000 people are infected with the AIDS virus in the U.S. alone. UNC-CH is participating by holding events throughout the week. On Thursday night, the Safer Sex Squad will be on Franklin Street at midnight with information and free stuff for students. And on Friday, the events end with UNC's AIDS Walk, starting at 2 p.m. at the Bell Tower.
With Christmas shopping in high gear, we should be on the lookout for two things: gifts we don't think someone will hate, and a little round seal on the bottom of products we purchase. Carolina Week's Holly Hedrick got into the swim of things for this story.
It's a familiar logo you see every day, but chances are you don't know what it means.
I've seen it before. I don't know what it stands for.
United Labeling or something like that, maybe?
It's listed with the Underwriters Laboratory. What that means, I don't know.
UL stands for Underwriters Laboratories. The UL mark means the product met all acceptable safety standards at the time of manufacturing. There are only 10 UL testing facilities in the world, and one is in our backyard in Research Triangle Park. Warren Rebarker is a project engineer.
Manufacturers send in products, and we check those products to certain safety standards.
Lab techs certify products by conducting endurance, intensity, and heat tests of light bulbs, hair dryers, fans, frosty, you name it.
This test isn't one that's going to save your life or anything, but it's going to give you time. We're just testing to see how long this will take to burn down if it did catch on fire.
There are 4 main testing labs within UL: plastics, electrical, material, and marine. RTP houses the only marine testing lab in the nation. It's the only lab that tests the safety of life jackets.
We'll do all kinds of tensile strength tests on the straps, the shoulders, the zippers.
UL conducts a series of tests to determine the performance of a personal flotation device. This is one of these tests. Managing engineer Tom Woolen says UL doesn't just test the safety of products.
We list a product, we look at all those hazards, all foreseeable hazards, and we even look at misuse of the product.
The organization also develops safety standards that manufacturers may choose to follow. So to you, the consumer, UL means a familiar safety mark you want to see on your next purchase. In RTP, I'm Holly Hedrick, Carolina Week.
UL is adding an additional lab where technicians will work to disaster-proof telephone systems for large telecommunications companies.
If you have high hopes for the holiday shopping season, you might want to check out the newest high-tech items on the market.
We'll show you what's on the top of many Christmas wish lists this year when we return.
During the fall, one of the most peaceful places on campus is the Forest Theater. Many great plays are held in this place of serenity. But my favorite times are when nothing at all is going on, and the colorful canopy of leaves overhead shelters you from the cares of the world. No one knows the real Carolina like a student.
Let your knowledge grow at the North Carolina Botanical Garden. Through public service, research, conservation, and education. The garden brings North Carolina's rich natural heritage to you. It's a beautiful way to learn.
If you're wondering what gifts to buy the big kids on your Christmas list, we have a few ideas. Carolina Week's Nicole Brusuk took a trip to the local electronics store to show viewers what high-tech toys you could put under your tree.
This is an electronic coin bank. This is how man's best friend looks after the technological revolution. Yes, high-tech toys are the hot items flying off the shelves this holiday season. The top 3 gadgets and gizmos that Christmas shoppers have been buying are
cellular phones, toys, and satellite dishes.
Today, people can purchase everything from digital nameplates to talking picture frames.
Hello, my name is Maria.
But high-tech toys don't come cheap. For example, computers are about $2,000. Micro music systems sell for $100. And a cell phone will run you about $150, plus a monthly service agreement. If you already own a cell phone or cell phones aren't what you want to purchase this holiday season, there are plenty of other ideas. Radio Shack is putting out this guide. It's called Cool Gifts, and inside are pages and pages of some of the hottest technical toys on the market for the season. Some of them are practical, and some of them are not.
I really like voice synthesizers.
Animated telephones, golf scopes, and keyboards keep people shopping and playing for hours. Many people try to figure out how to work these toys while they're in the store, because once they get home, they're on their own with only the owner's manual. But others don't seem to need any help at all.
Pretty confident with my abilities in more high-tech electronics.
Even with high prices and complicated manuals, this holiday season, you may find a tech toy tucked inside your stocking. In Chapel Hill, I'm Nicole Brusick, Carolina Week.
Consumer experts remind us to keep the age of your loved one in mind before buying high-tech toys.
Not every child will have a stuffed stocking this Christmas, but the Christmas House Wish Tree is all about getting presents to as many kids as possible. The Chapel Hill Service League sponsors wish trees like this one every holiday season for needy families in Orange County. Each tree has teddy bear ornaments signifying needy boys and girls and their ages. People can select an ornament representing a boy or girl and drop off a toy for the child in the boxes beside the tree. 9-year-old gift giver Emily Prinz has a special reason for giving another 9-year-old girl the pink teddy bear she picked out.
This year I chose a teddy bear because I usually, when I'm scared or alone, when I have a stuffed animal with me, I feel a lot better. And it can be your friend when you don't have any.
If you'd like to donate a toy to a child on the Wish Tree, you have until December 21st. Trees are located in University Mall, Carmill Mall, and the Elliott Road Senior Citizen Center. The holiday season is a time for giving and also a time for stealing. Finding the perfect gift for someone special is important, and so is staying on guard. The holidays are filled with all kinds of pleasant distractions, but safety can't be overlooked. Even shopping can be dangerous. But what can we do to keep ourselves safe? Shopper Margaret Falkovic has a plan.
I think that one of the things that I'll try to do is shop during the day.
Chapel Hill Crime Prevention Officer Chris Blue says people should be careful, no matter what time they shop.
It's just harder to see people at night. There are more places they can hide, but I think you need to be equally vigilant during the daytime. I mean, the same threats are there, they're just not as easily concealed.
Not all of us will be able to shop during the daytime, so that means being extra cautious at night, like carrying your keys with you to your car, putting your belongings in the trunk to prevent possible thefts, and parking in well-lit areas. And be wary that too much shopping could slow you down.
Don't be so loaded down with bags that you couldn't defend yourself if you had to, or get in your car quickly if you needed to.
But being safe doesn't stop at the mall. We have to protect our homes and vehicles during Christmas break as well.
We really urge people, if they're away for the holidays, to be sure that their residences are secure. If they leave a vehicle here, to make sure there's nothing of value left in it.
And if you really want to be safe, stay home. Protect your valuables and yourself. Try shopping online.
UNC officials had safety in mind when they ordered the construction of a fence that separates Manning Drive from Hinton James. But some students say the fence isn't worth the hassle. During the Thanksgiving break, someone knocked down the fence that surrounds this construction site. Officials assume the fence is down because upset residents of Hinton James wanted to use Manning Drive instead of walking around the dormitory to Skipper Bowles Drive, sometimes adding as much as 15 minutes to the walk to campus. Student Justin Dantino says the university shouldn't inconvenience students, but construction worker Phil Heiser says UNC has asked that the fence be rebuilt and reinforced.
They're not accommodating us at all. Our tuition's probably what's paying for this, in my opinion. So these 1,000 people here should be accommodated, and we shouldn't have to accommodate for them.
It's a temporary fence for construction.
And normally we don't concrete post in for temporary fence, but that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to dig new holes and concrete the post in.
Heiser thinks the fence will be fully repaired this weekend. UNC-Chapel Hill is a busy place leading up to the holidays. Hill Hall came alive Tuesday night to a symphony of instruments and musicians. Nearly 100 people packed the house to get a double dose of jazz. Both UNC's jazz band and lab jazz band entertained students and the community for 2 hours. The bands featured historical music from the 20s and 30s to more cutting-edge music of today. If you missed the concert, you won't have to wait too long to hear some smooth jazz. The band's next performances are this Friday and then December 15th and 16th.
Believe it or not, the countdown to winter is on, and doing our counting, weatherman Lee Ringer.
He's up next with those numbers and a look toward the sky. How long will it be gray? The forecast after this.
It's great that the Salvation Army does so much for the needy during the holiday season.
But you know that isn't all the Salvation Army does. They also run Boys and Girls Clubs.
They also provide relief for those who need it after natural disasters.
And they help the homeless by providing temporary relief and shelter.
They even run summer camp for low-income children.
Need has no season. Please help the Salvation Army help others.
North Carolina is where the wonders never cease. It's where visitors and residents alike can be touched by these things and always remember the embrace of clouds around a mountain peak, sparkling water forever in a hurry, a bridge less traveled, an enchanted wetland forest, and a place where the sun meets the sea.
Gosh, I can't wait for some more of that nice, white, fluffy stuff.
Yeah, that's snow, man. Could you make that happen? Do you have any say in that?
I wish I could order up some snow for the weekend. Wouldn't that be nice?
You can't.
Unfortunately, that's not in my job description.
I'll ask somebody else.
I'll just have to
okay.
tell you what the weather's going to be like. How about that?
Okay.
But before I do that, let's give you a chance to think about some weather knowledge. See how much weather knowledge you have as we ask our weather question for today. Our question for the day is about hurricanes. What do Australians call hurricanes in their neck of the woods? They call them cyclones, tropical twisters, typhoons, or willy willies. We'll have the answer coming up for you in just a moment. But first of all, let's take a look outside at what's been going on in our weather this week. It has been kind of breezy at times this week. A picture there of the flag flapping in the breeze. Some cloudy skies behind it, but it looks like we may have some clear skies for the weekend. We'll talk about the forecast in just a moment, but let's take a look and talk some more about that winter weather. Bridget and Katie both said they would like some snow for the weekend. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen, but we could see some later in the winter. We did see some about 2 weeks ago, the Sunday before Thanksgiving. We saw snow. That's the white stuff you saw falling from the sky. But sometimes when we see some frozen stuff falling from the sky, sometimes we see freezing rain. Now, that's when rain falls as water through the sky and then freezes. It hits the Earth's surface. Now, sleet is when we see ice. That's when rain falls through the sky, freezes as it's falling, and falls as ice. We can see some big problems, some icing problems when we see freezing rain and even sleet. But when we get a combination of these, sometimes driving can be tricky. Not going to have to worry about that, though. The Center for Climate Prediction is calling for a warmer and wetter winter this year. Now, that is on average. That means that we could still see some cold weather, we could still see some snow, but on average we'll see a warmer and wetter winter. The averages for December, 54 degrees, an average high. The average low, 31 degrees, and we usually see about 3.5 inches of rain during the month of December. Our temperature is going to be about average as we head into the weekend. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look at that forecast in just a moment. But here's what's been affecting our weather midweek. About Wednesday, we saw this frontal system here move off our coast. As it did so, we saw a few clouds, but those clouds cleared off, and we see this high pressure building in. We'll see this other frontal system, this cold front. It'll be a dry front. It'll be headed back through our area, reinforcing that cold air for the weekend. Let's take a look at your Carolina Week 4-day forecast. We'll start the week off with mostly sunny skies, 52 degrees for a high temperature with a morning low of 26 degrees, 49 for Saturday, 51 Sunday, and 53 Monday. Skies will remain mostly sunny to partly cloudy through the weekend. We may see a few extra clouds for Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures in the upper 20s to right around the freezing mark here in the Triangle area. Well, if you're headed to the beaches this weekend, the weather looks pretty nice. There, too, we'll see partly cloudy skies. Temperatures for highs in the mid-50s. We'll see lows in the low 30s. And if you're headed to the mountains this weekend, weather looks pretty nice there, too. We'll see partly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be in the mid-40s for highs with lows in the mid-20s. So we gave you guys a chance to think about what Australians call hurricanes. What do you think?
We're thinking Willy Willies.
Willy Willies? Well, you got it. That's what Australians call hurricanes. Willy Willies. We call them hurricanes, and we're not going to have to worry about them anymore because hurricane season is over, and the weather looking pretty nice for the weekend.
I wish I lived in Australia and could say Willy Willies.
Willy Willies?
Well, I think we've had enough hurricanes for now. So.
Definitely. Thanks, Lee.
Well, both the men's and women's soccer teams look to add a few more trophies to the trophy case this weekend.
And we'll have more about former football coach Carl Torbush and a possible successor. Devin Biganis is up next with Carolina Week Sports.
The steps of Wilson Library receive no sunshine on early winter mornings, so it's chilly there if you don't have that double-shot caramel espresso. Surrounded by forever green magnolias, the steps are a fine place to study, or at least pretend to, while you watch a border collie chase a frisbee in the quad. No one knows the real Carolina like a student. Carolina Week, the student news show.
Hey, there are a lot of ways we can help our community. Spending our money in Orange County, whether it's filling up the car or shopping at local businesses, helps maintain our roads, improves our children's schools, and creates jobs. Spending your money locally helps us all in a big way. So remember, shop Orange first.
So are we going to find out who the new president is before we find out who our new football coach is?
Are we going to have to recount, or is there going to be any little pregnant chads running around?
Well, hopefully we will find both of those very, very soon.
Okay.
Please.
After 3 years as UNC's head football coach, Carl Torbush is no longer the coach of the Heels. He was dismissed just days after the team beat Duke 59-21. Carolina Week's Ziona Banks. Torbush's story.
Tar Heels finished the 2000 season 6-5 and await word of a postseason bowl berth. Torbush took over for Coach Mack Brown prior to the '98 Gator Bowl, in which the Heels defeated Virginia Tech 41-3. The team finished that season 11-1 and ranked 5th nationally. Torbush followed the bowl victory with 2 mediocre seasons as head coach after Brown departed for the University of Texas. After last season's 3-8 performance, many wondered about Torbush's future as UNC's head coach.
Right now, there'll be, I'm sure, a lot of discussion the next several days, and we'll take it from there. But I'm excited about this football team. I'm excited about the way this football team responded and where we ended up.
Even though many hoped for an immediate Torbush release at the end of last season, athletic director Dick Fedora granted him a reprieve. The first 8 games of the 2000 season showed the Heels were struggling. However, this season mirrored last season in that the Heels finished strong. After the Heels rang the victory bell against Duke, many felt Torbush's fate would be the same as last season. But Carolina's athletic administration felt it was time for a change. Torbush finished his 3-year coaching stint with a 17-18 record and 2 years remaining on his contract. Many had described Torbush as one of the nicest football coaches around, but in the end, winning, or lack thereof, was the bottom line. In Chapel Hill, I'm Ziona Banks, Carolina Week.
Following the dismissal of Coach Torbush, the magic question was, who's next? Who will lead the Heels next season and in a potential bowl game this season? Most people thought that Frank Beamer would take the helm and captain the Heels, but Beamer and his Hokies from Virginia Tech said, well, not so fast. Beamer led Virginia Tech to the national championship game last season against Florida State. He turned down the Heels in the reported $1.2 million a year contract. Beamer led the Hokies against the Heels in the Gator Bowl 3 years ago. The Hokies are ranked 5th in the country this year and are in line for a BCS bowl berth. Beamer has signed a $1 million a year contract extension with Virginia Tech. The Heels are actively courting several other candidates to fill the position. For the 19th straight year, the Lady Tar Heel soccer team advances to the NCAA semifinals. 5th-seeded Carolina improves to 19-3 on the season, defeating UConn in the quarterfinals 3-0. The team next meets top seed Notre Dame Friday at 8 in California. You can watch the action on ESPN2 and tape delay Saturday at 3. If all goes well, the Lady Tar Heels will play the winner of the Portland-UCLA game and defend their national championship Sunday at 3:30 live on ESPN2. The top-seeded men's team, on the other hand, continues to break records this season. The Tar Heels win for the 21st time this season, a school record. The 3-1 victory against Rhode Island was UNC's 15th straight win. The Heels advance to the quarterfinals and host the 2-time defending national champion Indiana Hoosiers Saturday at 1. The winners of Saturday's game will face the winner of the Virginia-Creighton game December 8th in the NCAA Final Four. The Heels men's basketball team faces its biggest test so far in the Matt Doherty era when it faces in succession defending national champion Michigan State, Kentucky, and Miami in the next week. The Heels take on Michigan State from East Lansing as part of the ACC Big Ten Challenge. The Heels are coming off a win over the EA All-Stars in an exhibition match in the old home of the Heels, Carmichael Auditorium. The Heels won 88-65, but led by only 2 at halftime in what wasn't one of the team's better performances. Joe Forte led the way with 19 points and a few sick moves. Michigan State is one of the top teams in the country. Kentucky with history rich, and Miami tries to escape the election mess that is Florida when it comes to town. Brendan Haywood says that because of Carolina's recent lackluster performance, the Heels are in for a fun week.
I see a couple of hard practices, especially after what happened today. We had a poor first half, and I know Coach is going to get after us tomorrow, especially on Friday up to the Michigan State game, because we got a tough game coming up, and we brought it upon ourselves.
Well, this should be a pretty good test of how Matt Doherty and the team are ready for the upcoming season. 3 big games this week.
Yeah, I think we're all excited about it.
Definitely going to be great to see it.
Thanks, Devin. Well, with Thanksgiving behind us, it's time for the cheeriest of holiday seasons.
And the signs of that season are coming in left and right.
The sights and sounds of the Yuletide when Carolina Week continues.
What could you do with a free hour of your day?
Take a jog, wash your car, bake a cake, or watch TV.
Ever thought about giving blood? It only takes an hour. It saved my life. Someday it may save yours.
A single pint of blood can save 3 lives. Be a hero. Give blood.
With the arrival of their Christmas tree, the Clintons begin their last holiday season at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The 18.5-foot tall tree arrived at the White House on a horse-drawn carriage after a long ride from Auburn, Pennsylvania. First Lady Hillary Clinton was on hand, of course, but the event wouldn't have been complete without a special visit from none other than Santa. Adding some holiday cheer to the arrival, a children's choir sang Christmas carols. Next year, Bill and Hillary will be in New York. Who will be in the White House? Maybe we'll know by next Christmas.
I don't know, my Christmas tree doesn't make little kids sing.
Well,
it's amazing. Quite a production. All right.
That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thank you for joining us, and be sure to come back next week. Till then, have a good week.
Good night. If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292 or carolinaweek@unc.edu. You can also visit us online at ibiblio.org or /CW. If you have questions or concerns about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599.